in particular for those researchers or scientists who are concerned that we're going completely into the applied world at the expense of basic theoretical advancement of knowledge. We are not. We promote the basic research. We continue to promote the basic research. But what we're saying is that there is a role to play by a university that goes beyond the creation of knowledge simply for the sake of creating that knowledge, but have it be inspired by a particular use. So I don't know if I want to try and do this. I'm going to skip this one because you can't see it. Sorry. I mentioned the goals, the grand challenges that ASU is embracing. And I'm going to put them up here. I'm going to go through them quickly so you'll see, in fact, how they are grand challenges. By the year 2030, we have as a goal that ASU will have a sustainable water supply. So as Patricia just said, we have a big challenge because right now we have too many people in a city that doesn't have enough water. So we will have a sustainable water supply by the year 2030, and frankly, my colleagues at ASU and especially others in Phoenix say, that's crazy. How can you possibly accomplish that? Until I answer, what is our alternative? We're not going to have a sustainable water supply. I suppose our alternative is we could just turn off the lights and everyone leave. But there will be people living there. Phoenix will be a city. We will have a sustainable water supply. We will be energy independent. The source of all energy, we have a huge, huge supply of the source of all energy. And the fact that we have 325 days of sunshine per year, it doesn't make sense why Arizona needs to import any energy at any point in time from anyone as a state. And we will adapt to climate change. How do I know we're going to adapt to climate change? Well, first of all, we've already adapted to climate change. We've adapted to climate change since the beginning of humans. We will adapt to these greater and faster climatic changes because, again, what's the alternative? To not adapt? Not adapting is going away in a different way as a species. So the university's responsibility then is coming back around. The university's responsibility then is to be able to meet the needs of people that are managing resources and making decisions today so that these goals can be achieved. And we're taking on that responsibility as an institution, as a learning and teaching institution. We are dedicated to playing a role in some of these solutions. I mentioned the School of Sustainability and the Global Institute of Sustainability. I'm using this chart as much as anything for the university administrators who might be in the room here because it's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge to define something that is not just another school that's an institution that sits alongside, say, a law school or engineering school. One of the challenges that we have is that they don't necessarily talk to each other very much and they compete for the same resources. And so our sustainability program and our institute cuts completely across all 23 colleges and universities. Completely across. We have every dean and every school director that has, in fact, has bought in to sustainability as part of what they want to teach, part of what they want to be involved in research. So we organize the Global Institute of Sustainability, and here's a little small detail, but very important to understand, is that we put the School of Sustainability inside of the Global Institute of Sustainability. And in fact, when I did that at the beginning, I had faculty come up and say, I think I must have read this wrong because you don't understand. Colleges have schools, schools have institutes, institute of centers. You don't know universities well enough to know that that is the hierarchy. Until I suggested that there are some exceptions and they should maybe look at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and others. Institutes can have schools, and the reason why we did this is because we didn't want to be demonized 20 years from now by people that are saying, why did you create this pillar, this thing that is competing with the other schools that you were supposed to cut across? Secondly, we did this because we wanted to make sure that the brand of what we were doing in sustainability outwardly implied something that cuts across, and institutes implies that it's created to cut across units. Some of these on the outside of the different colleges, and I didn't, I couldn't make this thing big enough to put all of them, but I have centers and units and colleges all around that are all partly associated with the Institute of Sustainability. And partnerships are absolutely necessary. So if you imagine that big circle now coming down to the smaller circle, and we've developed very strategic partnerships, and I'll talk about that in a second, strategic partnerships on different topics like health and energy and transportation and urban growth and water. And in fact, we have partnerships because water cannot be treated separately from energy. We have a lot of projects that are about water and energy coming together because I just read a statistic, some 18% of all energy, all power that's used in the state of California is used to treat and transport water. You cannot decouple the energy issue with the water issue. You cannot decouple many of these, urban growth and transportation, but we've taken and we've decided through purposeful partnerships to work with these different institutions to help us so that we can together find solution options to some of these grand challenges. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the critical ingredients for success. So this is what I've learned over the last 5 years, and I'm coming to you with my sort of sense of the list of the things that that institutions need to be able to succeed in transforming themselves to be able to address issues of climate and sustainability and play a significant role in being able to provide knowledge-based solutions to these sustainability challenges. Leadership. It probably goes without saying, but I'll mention it anyhow. Injecting a sustainability program into a university, well, I'll talk about a U.S. university. Injecting it into a U.S. university, it requires courageous leadership and commitment throughout the institution, beginning at the top, with the president, with the provost, with the deans, even into with the chairs, et cetera. And you have to have this courageous leadership. You're attempting to do something that is so countercultural. It requires courageous leadership. It requires big thinkers. People who can see the grand challenges in their entirety. So imagine sitting down with one of your faculty friends or one of your professors or students who are here and say, you know what I want to do is I want to work on ensuring that my country, my city has a sustainable water supply. I want to work on that because that is my goal. So that's my life. That's what I'm going to work on. There are not many who can conceptualize the challenges that cut completely across every single discipline, completely across from university and out into policy and politics and business and civil society and kindergarten through 12th grade school and non-governmental organizations. And how do you conceptualize the challenge, let alone organize teams to be able to work towards these challenges? Big thinkers are absolutely critical.